All right, we are just outside of Palm Harbor in Florida, and as you can see, beautiful sunset going on. We just attended some training that was kind of outside of the normal for the business that we do, but I wanted to kind of reiterate to you guys that training is super important, and it doesn't always have to be exactly what you're thinking of, or exactly the things that you're thinking of. It may just be some stuff that relates to it. So for instance, if you have a marketing class, it may not be specifically for marketing of bounce houses or whatever, but you'll get good information from a marketing class regardless of as if it's named for that. Sales, marketing, you know, there's tons of class. I had an organizational class that I took years ago that just taught you how to manage your day and how to be organized and things like that. So those kind of things can help, you know, massively in all kind of aspects of the business, and make sure that you're getting done what you need to get done, and help you in those areas that you feel weak in, because we know that you're in a business where you're having to do most of the stuff yourself. You're having to wear a lot of different hats and make things that are, you know, working for the business, because you can't hire everybody to do everything, especially if you're small, or if you're just getting started, or wherever you're at in the business. Even the big guys, I do a lot of the stuff myself because I enjoy it, and it's important to get that information and do it right, so that you're not wasting your time or your money, and then at the same time you're doing the things that are going to make your business run a lot smoother. So anyway, training, make sure that you guys are learning more, and you can get it from a lot of sources. We're in the age of the internet. You could do it online. You don't have to travel, you don't have to go anywhere, you don't have to pay for a bunch of classes. But a lot of it's free. You can pick up a lot of stuff on our channel on YouTube, or on other channels on YouTube. Tons of stuff that you can learn just by getting out there and doing it. You have to have that drive to get that done, though, because what happens is you become stagnant, and then you start falling into your ways, and you don't do the things that you need to do to stay ahead of the curve. There are trends that are changing daily, and they're going to continue to change, and it's going to be a different world in 5 years. It's going to be a different marketplace in 2 years. So you need to make sure that you're on top of that, because what you don't want to do is be left behind and somebody else come along and capitalize on all the things that you should be doing. A funny story, when I started, this is kind of telling you my age, when I first started, Facebook had just became a thing, and it gotten to the point to where it was out of the free stage, and it was allowing some of the advertisements and things on there, and I shied away from it and said, no, that's crazy. That's not what we're doing. We were literally doing newspaper ads and phone book ads during that time, and not doing what we should have been doing, which was jumping on the bandwagon, being the first ones to get into Facebook. Now, it took me about a year, and I quickly saw that this was not what we wanted to do, was be behind on this. So we kind of adopted it and went full steam ahead, and were able to recover and did really well with our Facebook and stuff. But I did spend an entire year of doubting and not moving forward with what I should have moved forward with, which was that new type of marketing and advertising. So don't be scared to get your feet wet. Don't be scared to get out there and get in the middle of it, and do the things that you need to do to be on top of it. Because what will happen is you will regret it, and you will wish that you would have. Training can come from anywhere, and again, just look for it. It's out there. You can do some things if you have a job. There may be offering training in your job. I did a lot of supervision training in my previous job that transfers over. When you're dealing with people, you're dealing with people. It doesn't matter what the career is. So think about that, and use that if you can, and get ahead. So training doesn't have to be a formal thing. It could be something that you do with the people that you work with, or people that you are associated with. You can ask advice from family members or other business members, or just about anybody. Honestly, you can get on the phone and talk to people that maybe buying you may be buying your equipment from, or something like that, and they can give you some good information as well. So it's not something that you have to get from one particular part, but you need to be open to the fact that you need to learn. You need to learn as much as you can from as many people as you can, so that you're getting what you're doing, and you're getting it done most efficiently, and you're going to pick up on things that you would have never thought of in a million years. So don't be so tied up in yourself that you know everything and you know all and everything. You should always be training. You should always be trying to learn. You should always be trying to be bringing new information into your business, and growing and completing more of that's going to be necessary to make it expand and be a better business, and you a better business person. So yeah, look everywhere for your training, everywhere, and don't be afraid to ask. Like I said, call up Tent and Table, call up Happy Jumps, call up and see if somebody there will talk to you about some of the things that are going on, tents or tables or jumps, or any of the other things that you want. Now be careful, because they may be trying to sell you something. So don't get in a situation where you're taking everything and you're getting in a situation where you have to make money off everything. But I often ask, I'll give you an example. Last time I talked to the people at one of the rental companies, or one of the manufacturers that I bought from, I asked them how their sales are going. Not specific as to what's going on, in the industry, or what they thought they could sell me that would be good, or anything like that, but how their sales were going. And that's an indicator of how the industry is going. So for instance, if their numbers are up, obviously people are out there making money, and they're reinvesting, and they're buying more equipment and doing the things that they need to do. So good indicator. And they'll let you know this kind of stuff without giving away the farm either. They're not going to be, they're never going to put themselves in a bad light. So take that with a grain of salt as well, because you don't want to be in a situation where you're assuming that the world is coming to an end, and then talk to them and find out, oh no, it's not coming to an end, and then it comes to an end. But in the same respect, you don't want to be in a situation where you have this skewed value because of some of the choices that you're making, or the things that you're doing. And you could fix those things. You could repair what's going on, and you don't. You keep going down that path. So just be careful. Take in the information where you can, and use it. And like I said, you can get it from anywhere. We got the big pink dinosaur here, so I thought he would be a good addition to the video. One other thing we need to talk about is training for your staff and making sure that your staff does the proper amount of training to make sure that they're installing, delivering, following all the rules, doing everything that they're supposed to do, because it can affect your insurance, it can affect your license, it can affect, you know, all your everything. Even, you know, driving, are they making sure that they're doing the right kind of driving? Are they going to get tickets because they're going in school zones too fast? Tons of stuff that can affect it. So making sure that your people are being trained correctly is an ongoing process too. And again, the rules are always changing with the inflatables and you know, the requirements for that, and making sure that they're doing it. And believe me, an employee will kind of default down to the lowest level of what they're required to do. So what you need to do is make sure that they understand, you know, the level that you expect out of them, so that you can do the best that you can do to make sure that you're protecting your business and that you're doing things the way you do. So training for your employees is super important, and it also makes an employee a knowledgeable employee, which will be somebody that can answer the questions, you know, sufficiently to your customers and make sure that they understand what's going on, and they don't have any issues or any problems and stuff like that, and they can head off a lot of problems that will come, so that when, you know, the customer's going to not call you as much and ask you different questions and things like that. Another added benefit is that your employees can sell on the fly if they know what they're talking about. So training them on the information that they need to know so that they can do the sales part of it as well helps immensely. You know, knowing what they're talking about, knowing, you know, what the procedures are for your agency, and you know, everything that goes inside of that really makes a difference. So, you know, do the training for your employees and do it to a level that they become confident, and they may never sell a bounce in their entire, you know, whole career with you, but the fact that they know how to is a big plus on your side. Let's talk about where you find your training and where you can get it from. And I've kind of touched on this a little bit before, but let's talk about some of the sources. Again, a huge source is the manufacturers. You can literally reach out to them and get some good advice about, especially, you know, specific uses of their equipment and you know, how it relates to, you know, the rental and the whole 9 yards. So they can also kind of give you some trends and some stats from other people that are buying from them, so from around your area and around the country, as far as, you know, what is renting well, and, you know, how people are using it in the whole 9 yards. They are literally a hub of stories from people who are in the business, who are getting information back and forth about things that they're doing and things that are working and not working in the whole 9 yards. So they would be good. Also, if you have a good insurance agent, again, they're going to be the ones that are literally going to give you good advice on things that you can and can't do, as well as things that are going on as far as trends with other companies and you know, customers and things like that, because they, again, hear these stories. Now, they're going to be limited on their time, especially if you're hitting them up at a busy time, or you know, during a time of year where things are getting kind of hectic. So be very careful that you're not getting in a situation where you're causing them to, you know, be in a rush, or you know, interrupting them from trying to do the business that they're doing. You may want to call them at a time that you're actually doing business with them, so that you're doing business with them when you ask them for the information, so you're not kind of interrupting, you're actually conducting business with them. So that kind of helps. You can also call some of the competitors or people who are also in the business. Two things that I advise that you do. One, again, don't call them when they're busy, and you know when they're busy because that's when you're busy or when everybody else is busy. So don't call them in the middle of, you know, the rush or the 4th of July weekend or something like that, because they're busy. They're going to be busy, so don't get in the middle of that. And also, it's better to try to find one that is not directly in your area, but is, you know, far enough out that you know, you're not competing directly with them as far as, you know, what's going on. So work on that. You know, we're in the South, so if I'm in Georgia and I call somebody from Tennessee or Alabama or Florida or something like that, we have similar climates and similar seasons, the whole 9 yards, yet at the same time, they're far enough away that I'm not, because people will guard their information. They'll do things to kind of help protect, you know, their business, and you don't want to get in a situation where you're making them feel uncomfortable, or you're making them feel like they're going to give information that is going to, you know, put you in direct competition or harm them, or, you know, whatever. So yeah, those are some good sources. Also, again, the internet is just absolutely chock full, and there's plenty of how-tos on YouTube. Be careful of lazy advice. I will tell you that. There's a lot of people that will give you the answer that they've heard from someone else, and I call that lazy advice, because they really haven't done any of the research themselves. They haven't done anything that is kind of proven, you know, what they're doing. They're literally just spouting the stuff that they heard and going right back into a situation where, and one of the biggest examples is if you ask somebody, how do you price your units? And the first thing they do is say, hey, just call everybody around you and then put your price in the middle of what they're doing. Yes, that is advice, and yes, that's probably advice that you should start if certain circumstances are going on, such as you're just starting and you don't have any, you know, data on what your costs are or anything like that. But if you are, you know, in your second year or in your third year, you need to reevaluate your cost schedule, because what you're looking at is what it's costing you to do those rentals. And if it's costing you more to do the rentals, or it's costing you less to do the rentals, either way, and you're charging a certain price, overcharging, you could get more business if you had, you know, $10 less. You could be making more money if you charge $10 more. So you need to do some evaluation of what your history is and what your rentals are and what your customers are paying. So again, that's just one example of you know, lazy advice. So be very, very careful of lazy advice. If someone is just spouting, you know, information that they've heard and they haven't put it to the test, it's probably going to be something that you need to test and go back and revisit. So yeah, those are 3, you know, good places that you could go, 4 good places that you go to get some information that you can use for training.